must have been a summer's day. I guess I was about his age. I'd never seen a field so green, greatest sight I'd ever seen. Daddy taught me how to score. Who could ever ask for more? And that's when I fell in love. That's when I fell in love with baseball. For him it's been 50 years. His father's words, they still are clear.
Remember number 42. Now we know dreams can come true.
A still town boy, you know the one. Mazeroski's home run. And that's when they fell in love. That's when they fell in love with baseball.
It captures us at different times, different places in our lives. Remember when, you know the time. Vivid pictures fill our minds. For her it was a 95, little girl about this high. Suddenly a hero came, ball in hand before the game. Here you are, this one's for you, and we've even signed it too.
And that's when she
fell in love.
That's when she fell in love with baseball. Why do we
fall in love
with baseball? When did you fall in love with baseball?
You tell me to deep inside, you tell me we can't beat 'em. Yet hope and faith are easy to have, except for when you need 'em. You tell me we can win this thing, you tell me to believe it. I'm looking for a sign or two, it's really hard to see it. You're looking around all over the place, what will you find? Just take a look at your own face, the sign is in your mind. Hope and faith, hope and faith, hope and faith, that's how you begin. Well, I tell you that I have my doubts, I don't know if I can, but you don't get to know it, to know the master plan. Pain and fear, they can tear you apart, yeah, but they're not stronger than the will of your heart. Hope and faith, hope and faith, hope and faith, you need 'em to win. You know that you may not get victory on demand. It's not the cards you're dealt, it's how you play your hand. Well, don't try to swim against the tide. Now listen to your heart. Your gut will always be your guide. Now that is how you start. It doesn't mean that every dream comes true, but there in your soul you've got the power in you. Hope and faith, hope and faith, hope and faith, that's how you begin. Hope and faith, you need 'em to win. Hope
moments by, we can see you now. Suddenly I'm a child somehow. All we want to do is say thank you for the joy you've brought to our lives. We could see you from far away. Just your mannerisms made our day. All we want to do to say thank you is to tell you what you've meant to our lives. I wonder to see three before the grace of number five. The tales of heroes ever told, the memories will be alive. They will always be alive. And when we could get close, when we knew you well, we loved you even more. Oh, you were kind to us, you never let us down. You were good down to your core. A million lifetimes touched every day. You know it's personal in our own way. All that we can do as we thank you is ensure these stories thrive. The 94-8 had 7 assists. He said to 5 at 5. With tales of heroes ever told, he said to be alive. So every time we speak of you, those memories do revive. With tales of heroes ever told, they will always be alive. The memories will be alive. You will always be alive.
We drove along the road and saw the corn growing high. It cast a pretty scene against a perfect summer sky. We came around the bend and saw a sight to behold. Serene as the Garden of Eden, a symphony of greens and gold.
It's the smell of the grass, it's the feel of the dirt, it's the mustard dripping down a little boy's shirt. It's the rhythm, it's the music, and it's always been the same. It's the beat we feel inside us, it's the heart of the game. It's the heart of the game.
Off the pike we turned and passed the Dutch along the way. 1,000 moms and dads, it seemed, had gathered on this day. Blue and yellow, pink and purple, just like a county fair. Cheers and laughter, smell of charcoal. Hot dogs fill the air.
It's the smell of the grass, it's the feel of the dirt, it's the ice cream dripping down a little girl's shirt. It's the rhythm, it's the music, and it's always been the same. It's the beat we feel inside us, it's the heart of the game. It's the heart of the game.
Over by the Susquehanna, breezes whisper the truth. Tales of all the boys and girls believing dreams come true. We follow the river up to the village where they say it all began. Again we found a Garden of Eden, a symphony of green and tan. Over by the Susquehanna, breezes whisper the truth. Tales of all the men and women who learn that dreams come true. Yes, they do.
mustard dripping down a businessman's shirt. It's the rhythm, it's the music, and it's always been the same. It's the beat we feel inside us, it's the heart of the game. It's the heart of the game. It's the heart of the game.
I'm ready for the purples and grays, the longer nights, the colder days, the hills and the hopes, the valleys and breaks, the process of healing, the time that it takes. I'll be counting the days till springtime, the time for a fresh start. I'll be counting the days till springtime. It's springtime for my heart. The time it does befall us when we have to just slog through it. The peace soup farm, yet everyone can do it. Oh, I'm counting the days till springtime, the time for a fresh start. I'm counting the days till springtime. It's springtime for my heart. The answer comes from the spirit within, the signal we get that it's time to begin. I'm ready to see the greens and the blues, the sun's illumination of magnificent hues. I've been counting the days till springtime, the time for a fresh start. I've been counting the days till springtime. It's springtime for my counting the days till springtime. For my counting the days till springtime. For my counting the days till springtime. For my counting the days till
I want 'em to be happy where they go to run.
I do, I want 'em safe at home.
To feel the joy that's in their heart, to savor all their fun.
I do, I want 'em safe at home.
PawSox fans, how it is?
I can control the world or wherever they will go.
I do, I want 'em safe at home.
It's natural for them to fly, the time will come, I know.
I do, I want 'em safe at home.
They leave their home and go at first and far away at second, but soon they will be rounding third. We know what they're expecting. To smell and taste their favorite dish, you know they're on their way.
I do, I want 'em safe at home.
to this, I know that we know how.
I do, I run on safe at home.
For in this precious land of ours and blessed oceans wide with foam, a fundamental of the soul is to be safe at home, safe at home, safe at home, safe at home.
Well, it is virtual opening day. PawSox calling this opening day anyway. And we welcome you inside Fenway Park. It's the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Boston Red Sox coming your way on Twitch. Here we are. I'm Josh Maurer, joined by my broadcast partners this year. You can see the dapper Jim Kane. And up from the Portland Sea Dogs, we welcome to Pawtucket Mike Antonellis. Guys, it's great to be with you. Mike, I'll start with you. We're going to have some fun with this simulation here today.
Yeah, we certainly are. Any way we can get a game in, and with the weather the way it is, we've got baseball for you tonight. It should be a fun one at Fenway.
Jim Kane, great to be back with you again this year. And in our simulation, the PawSox and the Red Sox, we're going to see Kyle Hart make the start for Pawtucket.
Josh, Kyle Hart really burst onto the scene a year ago when he was called up from Portland and threw a complete game shutout in his AAA debut. And that really set the tone for the rest of his season and got him a spot on the 40-man roster with the Red Sox. So Kyle Hart is an up-and-coming prospect, and it'll be interesting to see if we do have baseball this year, guys, what his future holds as far as his career goes.
Well, you're seeing slides from McCoy Stadium. I mentioned we're at Fenway. We will be at Fenway in about 7 minutes. But for now, we're going to pretend we're at McCoy Stadium to get this thing going. And for a special tribute, let's turn it over to the McCoy public address announcer, Ben DeCastro.
We would like to take a moment to thank those who are working tirelessly to care for those who have been affected by this virus, as well as those working hard to find the treatment and cure. To the doctors and nurses at all the medical facilities around the country and around the world, thank you. To our first responders, police, fire, and EMS, thank you. To our armed services and National Guard, thank you. To our government leaders and teams working together with the single goal of flattening the curve, thank you. To the restaurants, businesses, and organizations who have adjusted the way they operate in order to continue to provide goods and services to our community, thank you. To those companies who are working to provide supplies that will increase the survival rate and decrease the spread, thank you. To all the teachers, educators who are working so hard to continue educating the next generation, thank you. To the moms, dads, and relatives who are perhaps stepping into new roles or extending themselves in ways they never thought possible to simply provide a sense of normalcy and balance, thank you. We encourage all of you, everyone, to keep checking in on each other. Make time each day to connect, whether by phone or video chat, with those whom you simply cannot visit with. We know that brighter days are on the horizon. When this fog clears and the sun shines once again, we seek to welcome you with open arms as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and most poignantly, "Take Me Out with the Crowd." Until then, please continue to stay safe at home.
And in this time of great hardship and great uncertainty, those words from Ben, all the more important to reiterate. And the three of us echo all those sentiments as well. So here we are getting ready to try to provide a little bit of respite from what has been such a trying month. We'll get you the PawSox Red Sox simulation, just getting ready to get it started. In fact, let's send it to the McCoy Stadium field. And Nicole Michelle is standing by with today's national anthem. Nicole Michelle with that beautiful rendition of our nation's anthem from McCoy Stadium. You just saw Rafael Devers. He was on the PawSox at the time. He'll be wearing a different uniform here this afternoon. Well, if you've been to McCoy over the last few years, you know that we have a traditional song that plays right before the home team takes the field. So as we get ready for this exhibition, let's all enjoy some PawSox baseball.
Spring, green grass, blue skies, every little thing. Summer sunshine, moonlit nights. My favorite team playing under the lights. It's a family fun tradition, it's a summer fling. To catch a rising star and to stand and sing. PawSox baseball, where dreams begin. PawSox baseball. Days when they extend right into autumn, cause I hope they never end. I'd watch them year round if you kids while preserving our tradition. All our lives we've looked forward to the spring, the crack of the bat, the whoosh of the swing, warmth of summer, golden twilight. My favorite team never gives up the fight. It's a fun tradition, it's more than a fling, to catch a rising star and to win a ring. PawSox baseball, where dreams come true. PawSox baseball, and someday they will come true for you. Believe in dreams and you will find they come true for you. PawSox baseball.
There you have it. That's our song at McCoy before the Paw Sox take the field night in and night out. Paw Sox baseball. Well, time now for the Yingling starting lineups. The Paw Sox, Mike Antonellis. I beg your pardon, Jim Kane, I turn to you. The Paw Sox have a familiar name back in the middle of the order in the cleanup spot.
Yeah, Rusney Castillo entering the final year of his 7-year deal, the back-to-back team MVP, right in the middle of that lineup for Pawtucket.
And on the mound for Pawtucket is Kyle Hart. Meanwhile, for the Boston Red Sox, Mike Antonellis, they are the home team, and they have a young man who's coming off a career year playing third base.
Yeah, you said it best, Josh. Devers led in so many categories last year in the American League. I bet people don't even remember he was second in the AL in hits. He had 201. And you know what the scary thing is? This guy could still get better.
You guys ready to play some virtual baseball?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's head up to Fenway. You know, the weather in Rhode Island today is not suitable for opening day baseball. And so let's shift the scene about 45 miles to the north at Fenway Park is where we will play this exhibition game. I'm glad we could at least open McCoy for the pregame festivities. So getting ready to go on the mound is Eduardo Rodriguez, the left-hander, expected perhaps to be the ace of the Red Sox staff this season. Boy, I tell you, Mike and Jim, the weather looks perfect up there in Boston.
Well, that's not how it looks at the moment. If you were to look out your window, we can only hope that we can have weather like that in the not too distant future.
Nice to see the guys in the short sleeves too.
Paw Sox in the Fenway dugout. What a great experience for them for this simulated virtual exhibition. There's Erod. Look at that season in 2019, guys. 19 wins. And if and when we have real baseball this year, a lot expected of this left-hander out of Venezuela.
Josh, he was one of the better pitchers in the American League. He was in the top 10 in a lot of categories. And another one that's young, like Devers, who could certainly grow.
This is the view you will watch the game from today. And just a reminder, this is a video game after all. Zhu Wei Lin, first pitch swinging. And a play in left for Benintendi to begin things here this afternoon as we get underway on our opening day anyway production. So as we said at the outset, we'll look to have some fun with this. C.J. Chatham, Bobby Dahlbeck, two young prospects expected to begin this season with the Paw Sox, and they bat second and third in the order for second-year manager Billy McMillan here this afternoon. And Chatham, he's an exciting young prospect.
You know, for our fans watching out there, they might be saying these guys would never face each other. Well, we know in spring training on those back fields, you might see a big league pitcher throwing to the minor league guys.
2-0. And in the air to left center field, that is caught by Benintendi again. 2 catches. The left fielder of the Red Sox starts things off. And 2 outs here in the first inning for Bobby Dahlbeck. So since we have made it abundantly clear that we're simulating this, let's give credit where credit is due. From the Paw Sox front office staff, Joe Jacobs is playing and representing Pawtucket. Tim Quidadama He's at the controls for the Bostons. Nice to see, even virtually, a shot of a full Fenway Park, isn't it, guys?
Certainly is, Josh, and we can only hope that it can be full again at some point in the future.
I
Well,
really love
Bobby
those dents in the wall too. And the monster.
Beg your pardon, Mike. Bobby Dahlbeck. This guy has about as prodigious of a power stroke as anybody in the organization. That one ripped foul. And we saw him come up to Pawtucket for about the final month of the 2019 season. And true to form, as he's done at every level of the Red Sox minor leagues, he hit for power. Play at first for Mitch Moreland. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Eduardo Rodriguez. Let us hear a message now from PawSox manager Billy McMillan.
Good morning, PawSox fans. This is your manager, Billy McMillan. Hope everyone's doing well up there in Rhode Island. Here in South Carolina, we're just adjusting to being inside, hoping that baseball returns pretty soon. You guys take care and go Sox.
Thank you, Billy. He will be in his second season at the helm of the Red Sox AAA team, and this could be his ace pitcher. Who knows? He really kind of was Jim Kane last season, Kyle Hart.
It really was, Josh, and the thing about Kyle Hart, he doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he has tremendous command in the strike zone, throws a lot of strikes, and he really can manipulate hitters at the batter's box.
In the bottom of the first, it's Benintendi, Devers, and J.D. Martinez to face the young left-hander out of Indiana, and it's first pitch swinging for Benintendi. That's got a spot in shallow left. Oh, wow. Benintendi makes a base-running mistake, and out at second. We'll give that an error at the helm to Tim Quinidamo at the controls for the Boston Red Sox. It is a video game after all, folks. And now it's Devers' first pitch swinging, lines to Nick Longy in left field. So 2 out. How did we score that first ball, guys? We're going single and then out at second base?
I think, yeah, error, then 7-4.
Oh, all right. We'll go E6. Well, here's JD. And guys, the order in the middle of it for Ron Renicky for the Red Sox this season still looks about as devastating as any, even with the subtraction of Mookie Betts from the top of it. Play at shortstop for Chatham. He atones for the error, and no, he didn't. He made a wide throw. His second error of the inning.
Oh, Josh, this is a terrific 4 we're seeing for Boston to start the game in their lineup.
First pitch swinging here for Bogarts, and at third base, Bobby Dahlbeck shows off the arm. No error there. Inning over. Nothing after 1. And folks, I got to tell you about our friends at the Rhode Island Department of Health. If we have this opportunity, yes, spring is here, and that means baseball season is here. But we all know that the boys of summer are delayed in showering you with a host of family memories. So while we all wait together, your PawSox remind you to follow the guidance of our partners at the Rhode Island Department of Health. Visit health.ri.gov so that you can visit us at McCoy Stadium for a wonderful, healthy celebration of our national pastime and our community. Time for the second inning, and we welcome our new member of the PawSox broadcast team, Mike Antonello.
All right, Josh, thanks a lot. Rusney Castillo, the right fielder, leads it off, 4-5-6 for Pawtucket. And he swings at the first pitch and launches it to left center field. A perfect swing and a perfect diving attempt by Jackie Bradley to no avail. And Castillo will start this inning off in style, guys, with a double. Let's see, he's pointing. He's happy.
This was a great bid by Jackie Bradley out in left center. We're usually accustomed to seeing the real Jackie Bradley make these spectacular plays, but not that time.
He was close to it. Akami swings at the first pitch, and it's strike one. Well, guys, I didn't think the next time I would be with you in the broadcast booth would be this way, but I still love it. Akami playing first base and hits this one in the air to left field, and it's caught by Benintendi for the first out.
You know, there's a lot of familiar names, Mike, in this PawSox virtual opening day lineup. Familiar names from guys that we've seen at McCoy over the last couple of years. Guys like Rusney, Akami, and how about this man, Jansen Whitty? He's made a home at McCoy Stadium for several years. It's a very experienced AAA team.
Yeah, and a guy that can just hit. As Rodriguez misses low. So Whitty is DHing. You know, he can play the corners. Good hold up right there. And Whitty smacks this one to deep left center field. This one has a chance. It's up, and it is off the wall. And Pawtucket is going to take a 1-0 lead, or no, they stopped Castillo at third.
Big swing here. Take a look at it by the... Well, we're not going to show you the replay, so let's just go to Marco Hernandez.
And strike one to Marco. Now, guys, think about Marco Hernandez's path to Boston. They got him in the Felix Doubront trade. Pretty good throw-in. And Hernandez hits a foul on the right side.
Well, guys, Hernandez is an intriguing guy. I mean, he was a victim of a roster crunch at various times last year, but when healthy, and he showed that he was last year, he's a good player.
Absolutely. And a ground ball on the right side, a play at the plate. Castillo's speed will beat it. And the PawSox have the first run of this virtual game. So Marco will have a fielder's choice, but he gets an RBI.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision there by Moreland. Trying to come home and cut down the runner at the plate. Rusney Castillo looks like he's shown some good speed here at the start of the year.
Yeah, we got a stolen base attempts. And Marco.
Boy, they called him out, Mike. Let's take a look here. This is a close play. What do you think? If you're Billy McMillan, you throw the challenge?
So can we not challenge in the show? No? Into right center field. A leaping effort by Pilar, but that one will go all the way to the wall. And Pawtucket is loving this inning as they've got 2 runs on the board. As Nick Longy, welcome back to the Red Sox system with a sliding triple. And he is pumped up. That's some good opposite field hitting by Nick Longy.
Boy, and that was another good attempt. That time Pilar in the outfield, leaving his feet, full extension dive to no avail. Boy, they really have hit against Eduardo Rodriguez here in this second after the quick first inning.
A lot of extra base hits. Centeno will give it a try from the 9th spot. And Rodriguez deals in a play for Vasquez. Right in front of the fans. And Christian will haul it in. But Pawtucket gets 2 runs. See the fans up cheering for Pawtucket here. They lead 2-0 after 1.5. All right, guys. How about Pawtucket? An early lead in our simulation.
Pretty impressive hitting there against Eduardo Rodriguez. He had some hard hit balls, 3 doubles. Castillo, Whitty, and Longy, all with doubles.
Well, Mitch Moreland was a terrific addition to the Red Sox, and that's why they brought him back. Hitting 5th with Chavis and then Pilar to follow. And Kyle Hart pitching with a 2-0 lead. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Hart working quickly, and Moreland sent it to center field. And Zhu-Wei Lin playing in the outfield. Not a position that he grew up playing, but Josh and Jim, he's adjusted to playing the outfield.
You know, guys, when he's played the outfield, he's looked like a natural. As you mentioned, Mike, he came up as a middle infielder, but In the short time that he has spent roaming the outfield, he's looked pretty good.
And speaking of strangers to positions, Michael Chavis, who now a second baseman in the big leagues, goes to short. Chatham with the strong throw, and 2 outs. An emphatic call by our first base umpire.
Well, that feels good for CJ. Had a fielding error and a throwing error in that first inning. A couple of E6s. Made the play that time, made it look routine.
This might be one of the most underrated signings. Kevin Pillar. Takes strike 1 from Hart. This guy has power. He can play all 3 outfield spots.
And you know, guys, I think it's going to be interesting when the season does get going. Here's the guy who's essentially being asked to replace Mookie Betts, right? I mean, take that for pressure. You come to Boston, and you have to take the spot of one of the best players in the sport.
Straightaway center it goes for Zue, and how about that for Kyle Hart? A perfect second inning. 2-0 PawSox. We go to the top of the third, and we'll swing things over to Jim Kane.
Thank you very much, Mike Antonellis, as you take a look at some beauty shots of McCoy Stadium. Of course, our firework displays as we have on weekends at McCoy. Beautiful sunset there. Love to be back at the ballpark at some point soon. You see Cole Sturgeon. Boy, Cole last year really ended the season in style. That 3-home run game that he had on Labor Day to end the season, and he walked it off in the 10th inning. Eduardo Rodriguez back to work against the top of the Pawtucket order. And Zue Lin lines to left. Benintendi's been busy, and he grabs that liner for the first out.
Well, Benintendi has been busy with a lot of line drives. That's 3 of them already.
See, he gets a good jump on it. Really good outfielder. Wherever you put him, no problem on that. He's already got 4 putouts, Jim.
He's going to be a guy to watch this year for the Red Sox. He had a bit of a down year by his standards after really bursting on the scene at the big league level. It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back for Ron Renicky and the Red Sox. And Chatham takes way inside from Erod.
I'm buying the stock on Benintendi. I think he'll hit. He's still young. It happens. Mookie Betts went through a tough year.
Adam takes outside. That's a great point, Mike. He is still very young. And when you take a look at this Red Sox lineup as a whole, even though this is a point you made earlier, Josh, you lose Mookie Betts, you still have a very good lineup, especially in the middle when you've got guys like J.D. Martinez and Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts. This one's in the air to right, coming on to Pillar, and he makes the catch. So some solid contact to begin this inning for Pawtucket, but nothing to show for it.
The third baseman, Bobby.
Yeah, they certainly haven't looked overmatched, even from the get-go. Pretty good swings against Erod. You can imagine what it feels like for these guys, I'm sorry, Jim, to have the opportunity to come up and play an exhibition game at Fenway Park in front of a sellout crowd, almost 40,000 fans.
They're squaring up some balls, even when they're making outs. And there's another one that's squared up towards the gap and into the left center field gap. It goes off the monster. Stays the carom, but Bobby Dahlbeck in his prodigious power nearly got one to get up and over the monster, but he's got a 2-out double.
Yeah, one more look. There's the big right-hander. Boy, he can envision a day where he's up there playing pepper with that green monster ball on a regular basis. So inviting for those righties to hit at Fenway.
That's the 4th extra base hit that the PawSox have gotten off Eduardo Rodriguez. Snake Castillo has one of those 4.
You remember that when Erod first had success in the major leagues, guys, that he had the issue with tipping. I wonder if the PawSox have a little something up today with Erod and knowing what's coming.
CO drills one towards the gap in left center once again, but Bradley is there on the edge of the track to haul it in. PawSox with the 2-0 advantage. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Leading it off for Boston, Christian Vasquez. And what a year for Vasquez last year. You see the stat line there, 23 home runs, just under 800 on the OPS. Breakout season for Vasquez. Lines one in the right, and it drops in for a base hit.
Boy, guys aren't waiting around in this game. I guess Joe and Tim are not waiting around in this game. A lot of first pitch swinging.
Yeah, Kyle Hart's been in the zone. They're swinging.
Again, just to remind those tuning in, our own Tim Quintadamo, member of the PawSox production team, playing as the Red Sox, and our own Joe Jacobs playing as the PawSox here in this opening day, virtual opening day. Adley takes outside.
Virtual Wally is here too.
Adley pulls one, and it's under the glove of Akemi and into right field. Errant throw, but Dahlbeck there to stop it, and the first two Red Sox have reached.
I tell you what, this is what the Red Sox have been for from Jackie Brad. For a long time, he got the pitchers. Stayed right in, pitch on the inner third, and he pulled it. Hitting lefties has been such a tough task for JBJ. Able to do it here. These are the first two hits of the game thus far for the Red Sox.
Yeah, you look at the lower part of their order, though, it can cause havoc with Pilar, Vasquez, and Bradley.
Back to the top, Andrew Benintendi wastes no time. He pulls one into the gap, but a nice ranging play by Zue Lin to haul it in. Runner tags from second and moves to third. So now runners at the corners with one guy.
You mentioned it earlier, Jim. Zue, for a guy who is not a natural outfielder, smooth. Patrolling all the outfields at McCoy Stadium over the last few years, very deftly. I actually have always kind of liked him more as an outfielder than as an infielder.
Certainly has the speed for it, and he had an injury-riddled year last year. You'd like to see him get healthy and put together a good season because, like Marco Hernandez, when Zue's healthy, he's a very good player.
And those guys that play short and second really can adapt to playing the outfield because they're used to moving so much on those pop-ups to shallow center. So they get those views, those reads.
Outside, that's the ball. Rivers takes outside, 2-1 the count on the Red Sox third baseman.
Spot here for I'm sorry, Jim. Spot here for Kyle Hart. You don't want to be too fine. I know you don't want to give up that first run, but you also don't want to walk him. And now he's in danger of doing just that.
Yeah, because look who's looming on deck.
Martinez on deck, and the 3-1 is just outside. Oh, would love another look at that. That looked to be a close pitch from Hart, but now the bases are loaded for Boston.
Patience there from Rafi Devers. You're right. That was an extremely close ball for Jim. This is not the situation Kyle Hart wanted with the bags packed, and you got Martinez and Bogarts coming up.
Martinez goes after the first pitch and lines it into the gap, but Zue's there to make the grab. Tagging and heading home is Christian Vasquez, and he slides in safely. Ended up being a close play on the relay throw, but the Red Sox get a run, and it's now 2-1 Pawtucket.
And maybe just a late break there by Vasquez, but I'll tell you what, if you're Kyle Hart, you'll take that.
A run for an out, absolutely, especially against JD. But he's not out of the woods yet. 2 on, 2 out for Xander. Starts, pulls one in the air to deep left field. Longy turns around, but that ball is gone. It's a 3-run home run for Xander Bogaerts, leaving the bat at 105 miles an hour. And with one swing of the bat, the Red Sox take the lead.
Well, Xander had 117 RBIs last year. Believe it or not, that was tied for second in the American League.
Boy, look at that sweet swing. He waited on that pitch on the inner half and just up over top of that monster. You talked about it, Mike. A huge season last year, and Bogaerts picking up where he left off.
Oh, Mitch Moreland flies one towards the triangle in right center, but once again, Zhu Wei Lin, who has been busy, hauls it in. But the damage done for Boston on one swing of the bat from Bogaerts. The Red Sox take a lead as we head to the 4th inning here at Fenway. And now back with the play-by-play is Josh Maurer, along with a special guest here this inning.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jim. It is our pleasure to welcome on PawSox reliever Tanner Houck. Joins us here on our Twitch broadcast. What's up, Tanner?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, Tanner.
Great to be with you, Tanner. It's Josh, Mike, and Jim on the broadcast as Akami leads off against Eddie Rodriguez. Another first pitch swing is going to produce an out. Bogaerts puts it away. So, Tanner, what is happening in your neck of the woods out in the Midwest? How are you keeping busy?
Oh, just staying on top of things as much as I can. Throwing pretty much every day. I recruited one of my high school buddies to throw with me and grabbed some old catcher's gear we had laying around. So have the privilege of playing catch with him again. Working out best I can, but also just trying to stay safe with the family and enjoy the time with them while I can.
Take us back, Tanner, to what it was like to be in Fort Myers during that week in March when everything all of a sudden got so quickly shut down. It must have been pretty surreal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had been hearing about had what been going on, and we knew it was serious, and how it can affect people around you so quickly. So I mean, my first initial thought was, I don't want to get it and bring it home to my family, because you got to worry about the people around you and yourself at the same time. But that initial week was, they sat us down on like a Friday, and we had a talk about what was going on. Then we went out and practiced for the day, and then later that night they were like, "Hey, everyone go home. You can't come to the field anymore. Come get your stuff." And so I was like, "Okay, like, yeah, this is a lot bigger than what I'm thinking it is, even more than what I'd already thought it was."
2 outs and Hernandez ahead in the count against Erod. Marco into right center field. Over goes Pilardo. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Eduardo Rodriguez. Oh, I beg your pardon, he dropped the ball. How about this? Pilar does not usually make an error. One more look.
Good contact too, right there.
Yeah, he ends up at second base. All right, our guest is Tanner Houck here in this top of the 4th inning of the virtual game. So how in touch are you, Tanner, with everybody in the organization? Is it constant day to day? Are you getting updates on what you should be doing to try to stay as ready as possible?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox have been great with reaching out, with everything going on, just staying safe, asking, how we're feeling, how, kind of how the family's feeling, because, now that we're all kind of spread out, and we're around a bunch of different people and not just around each other, then that adds another layer of, we don't want to bring it back to Florida with us. But they've been in touch with us every single day, or every other day for the most part. I've been talking with medical staff, training staff, and pitching coach Paul Abbott. on a pretty regular basis and just staying in touch with them. So they're on top of things and just trying to be as ready as I can. Hopefully for the season that'll start here soon.
After an RBI hit by Longy brought the PawSox within one. That one, I promise. PawSox get an unearned run. By the way, Nick Longy's driven in 2 of the 3 for Pawtucket. They trail 4-3, and we're going to keep Tanner with us as we head on here into the bottom of the 4th inning. There you see your buddy Michael Chavis getting set to lead off. So I understand, Tanner, that a lot of you guys pretty keen on this MLB The Show video game, right?
Yeah, I enjoy playing for sure.
What's it like having yourself in the video game? That has to be surreal.
It's definitely like a surreal thing of like, holy cow, like I'm in a video game. Like it's something as a kid, you know, I dreamed about. You know, it's like you always go into like, or I always go into like My Career or like Road to the Show, like whatever like video game you play, but you always made yourself. So going into a video game and seeing like yourself already is really cool. It's definitely something unique that not a lot of people can say, but it's truly an honor.
First out made by Chavis. Now Pilar facing Kyle Hart. What were the things that you worked on most this offseason, Tanner, as you get hopefully right on the brink of your first call up to the major leagues at some point this year? What were the things that you were working on to try to get ready for that?
Yeah, my off season was a little bit shorter than most. Going out to the fall league this year, and then getting to play for Team USA. So I only had about 10 weeks at home to truly to work on stuff and hone in. 2 weeks of that I took off for some downtime, but then the next few weeks was hard training of just getting the body ready, continuing to hone my craft of throwing a 4-seam, changeup, 2-seam, and slider. Working everything. There's not really anything I would say I worked on particular, but definitely it was just trying to hone in the craft even more and refine as much as I can.
Or do you find it harder now with, you know, a lot of things closed like a gym or whatnot to try to stay ready in case or when or if baseball does restart again?
Yeah, it definitely adds a new challenge, but luckily, you know, I've been through a minor league season where you got to kind of make do with what you got sometimes. I've done workouts in plenty of random locker rooms across America with, you know, minimal weights. So luckily the Red Sox have a great program put together for being able to do stuff just at home with body weight. So I've been following that pretty much every day and just staying on top of it as much as I can to be ready.
Well, we get a double play, 1-6-3. Kyle Hart gets through the 4th. We'll keep Tanner with us and turn it back over to Mike Antonellis for the play-by-play in the 5th.
Josh, I thank you. Zue Lin, Chatham, and then Dahlback, the top 3 against Eduardo Rodriguez. And Tanner is very familiar with guys in this lineup coming up for Pawtucket as the PawSox try to do some damage. So, Tanner, tell us about Bobby Dahlback's power. That's all we hear about, and the fans hear that all the time.
Yeah, it's truly something special. I remember the first time I saw it. I was a freshman in college. He was a sophomore in college. We were on the USA collegiate team together, and I mean, just right out of the gate, you just saw all the power unleash. It's, you know, it's something truly special, and it's not just like he has power to the pull side. He's got just as much, if not more, power to the the backside. So it's truly something, that not a lot of people are gifted with, but he's gifted with it, and he can truly do a lot of damage.
Chatham looking for his first hit. He's hit the ball hard twice, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to CJ. And Bobby can talk pitching with you, Tanner, being a former pitcher in college.
Yeah, definitely can. He always brags about how good his changeup.
Rodriguez into his 5th inning, and Chatham lines it into the crowd. In and outs.
When the calendar turned to July and then August, it was that time last year that you and CJ and Bobby Dahlbeck, who's going to come up next. Boy, nice play by Eddie Rodriguez here for the second out. But
right now.
yeah, it was that time last year that you guys all kind of came up from Portland to Pawtucket together. Tanner, how nice is it to have guys that you know so well who have been with you, talked about throughout your time in the organization, moving up together, keep those friendships and to keep them as teammates?
Yeah, it's definitely a comfortability thing. You're just not thrown into a whole new environment with people you don't really know. So having those two guys that we played in Salem together, played in Portland, and obviously in Pawtucket together now. It's definitely really cool to see our careers grow together and progress.
2 balls.
Hey,
no
I know
strikes.
you've gotten some attention for obviously your performance going to the fall league, being a non-roster invitee to spring training, but you do a lot of great work off the field too. Why don't you tell us about your initiative, your Pitch for Adoption initiative for those tuning in?
Yeah, my pitch for adoption. I started it back when I first got drafted in 2017. 2018, whenever I went to Salem, was the first year of the launch, where I donate $25 for every strikeout to St. John Bosco, who is basically a home for kids that are in foster care here in Southern Illinois. I have a sister who is adopted, and just seeing how kind of we affected her life and how much she's grown from when we first accepted her into our family and until now has been amazing, and I want to continue to help other kids that are in unfortunate circumstances, but I want them to know that someone cares about them, and that they have kind of a role model to look up to.
Such a great story, Tanner. Because if you want to know more about it, go to @PitchForAdoption on Twitter. You've got your own Twitter set up for it as well, which is really
Yeah. When we first started it, we were like, whether we get 5 fans watching, or whether we get or 100 fans following it in on it, but let it grow with my career. In 2018, when it first started, holy cow, I think we had maybe 10 people donate to it, and I think last year we had more contributors up in the 50 to 100 range. Hopefully more this year, and continue to grow as we got a great fan base with the Red Sox, and hopefully start a good cause.
Well, after 2 outs here in the top of the 5th, Red Sox starter Eduardo Rodriguez, the 2-out walk, a single, and then another 2-out walk, which is Tanner knows the pitching coaches don't like those 2-out walks.
Nope, those will come and bite you.
Let's see if Whitty can do that. Bite Rodriguez here and tie it up, or give Pawtucket the lead. He might not. It's bobbled. Whitty is out on a close play. If Pawtucket leaves, the base is loaded as we're halfway through at virtual Fenway. Sox leading Pawtucket 4-3.
Okay. Yeah, I can do either one, whatever you guys need. If you want me to hang out and keep talking to the fans, I can do it. If not, Cool.
Yeah, we're going to keep Tanner Houck on here in the bottom of the fifth. And if fans have any questions, send them along here on Twitch as Jackie Bradley Jr. leads it off.
You know, I've got a question, Tanner. If you're
Hit me
going to
with
come
it.
into the, yeah, you might be coming into this game pretty soon. What's your mentality in the bullpen at Fenway Park?
For me, just attack hitters. Whenever I first got sent to the bullpen, I'd never actually pitched in the bullpen before. So it was a whole new kind of like, what do I got to do? What is my routine? So that was definitely like a whole new thing. But for me, it's just going and attack hitters with the best stuff from the very beginning, and just know that my stuff's good enough to play.
Benintendi's reached on an error and flied out. Yeah, being a reliever is not an easy gig. You have to come in and throw strikes right away.
Correct. I mean, if you come in and you got men on and you're walking, then that's not what you need. You need to come in there and get a quick out, whether it's first pitch or go in there in some search situations and get a big punch out. But it's just no matter what, as long as you're attacking hitters, that's all that matters.
Yeah, Hart's doing that here in this fifth inning, looking for a perfect frame. Ball one to Devers. Well, it'll be fun to see Tanner come on in this point, at some point here at virtual Fenway Park. Devers scored a run back in the third, and he lifts it to straightaway left field, and it's grabbed by Nick Longy and Kyle Hart with a perfect fifth inning. Red Sox do lead 4-3, as we're going to swing things over to Jim Kane.
Thank you very much, Mike Antonellis. And Tanner Houck, thanks for sticking on and spending some time with us here in this virtual broadcast.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Anything for the fans while we can.
B-Rod back to the bump for Boston. He'll face the bottom third of this Pawtucket order. Marco Hernandez in this lefty-lefty matchup. Hernandez reached on errors last time. It was after the first pitch, but it's lined right at Bogart.
Nick Longy.
Gave the Red Sox the lead with a 3-run home run into the monster seats.
Hey, we have a question. Sorry, Jim. We got a question from the fans for Tanner. And the question was, do you have any pre- or post-game traditions?
Pre or post game tradition? Oh boy. I really don't anymore. I mean, I guess I would say like my tradition is like really, I don't know. To be honest, like I used to be that way, but like I've just kind of, as I've gotten older, I've realized like if I have them and like I don't do them, then I feel like something like it throws me off even more. So like for me, it's just like I don't really have any before the game, and then after the game, I definitely don't have anything, because where I go home, whether it was good outing, bad outing, whether we win by, lose in a 1-0 game, I know that the game is over and you can't really control anything else anymore. But I really don't have anything where I would say it's like a major tradition for me.
Juan Centeno digs in after a walk to Longy. And Tanner, looks like we have another question. What is the craziest minor league travel experience you've had?
Ooh. Traveling is definitely an interesting thing in the minors. For those who don't know, I mean, you just take one bus usually up until, for us, we took one bus in high A. Once we got to double A, it was 2, but I mean, you're talking 8 to 15 hours on a bus.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you can have as many blankets or a pillow as you want on a bus, but it is not fun, especially after you get done playing a game or pitching in a game and you're sore, and then you got to wake up the next day and play again. Uh, it's definitely tough. But the craziest, we were probably coming home from, it was in Salem, Virginia. We were coming home from a road trip. It was like one of our longer road trips, so it was like 8 hours away. The bus driver missed our exit and like didn't realize it and like wasn't paying attention really. Just kept driving and drove about 45 minutes past Salem, Virginia. So we were like an hour basically out from where we were supposed to be, but like past it. So we had to whip a U-turn just to drive back an hour. So we would have been home like 2 hours earlier, but he missed the exit. And it was also at like 2 a.m. whenever he realized it. So we didn't get home until like 4 or 5. So that was also a really big upsetting factor.
We all know those experiences.
Yeah, I was going to say, for folks like Mike and I and Jim, and for you who've been in the minors long enough, Tanner, unfortunately, we've all got those horror stories.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's a great Instagram account. It's like Minor League Grinders. Like, if you go and look at some of that, I mean, it's all true. Like, all of that stuff has, like, happened. Like, to someone somewhere. But, like, you can always, like, for us at least, I feel like you can, like, get a laugh out of it because you're like, I could totally see that happening to us tonight. Or, like, what was it last year in Portland? Like, the field flooded. And they couldn't, like, play for a week because, like, the field was like they had just put new dirt down, and it was like they took like a 10-foot pole, and like half of it went in the mud because it like the water like moved all like the newly put down dirt. So it's like stuff like that that's crazy and like you wouldn't think about happening, but it all does.
Well, Tanner Hauk, we thank you for joining us here for a couple of innings, answering some questions and spending some time with us. And we should definitely try to do it again sometime. And love to see you back in a mound at some point in the not too distant future.
Yeah, we'll love it. I mean, love talking to the fans. It's a crazy, unfortunate time. But you know, Red Sox fans are some of the best out there. And so whatever we can do to be, you know, connected with them and be around them, you know, I'll be down for it.
Stay safe, my friend.
Thank you. You as well.
Sox pitcher Tanner Hauk. Our thanks to him once again for spending some quality time with us. That was a lot of fun, answering some fan questions, giving us some insight as to what he's doing during this time, this unprecedented time, really. Sox still leading 4-3. They come to bat. Kyle Hart still working 42 pitches. Very economical for the left-hander.
Yeah, just that one inning, Jim. The second is where he threw a lot of pitches.
It's a guy who doesn't often throw a lot of pitches. He works at a brisk pace as he did in his AAA debut at the end of May last year when he threw that complete game shutout. As takes downstairs, and we also want to point out for those of you tuning in on Twitch, you may see down the bottom beneath the screen as Martinez drives one out to deep left center, but there to grab it is Zue Lin. We want to point out to support those affected by COVID-19 through the PawSox Foundation, and you can make a donation of any size, and donations will go to the PawSox Foundation, and it'll support local food banks and other local organizations in need during this time. And again, as you can probably see just below the stream, if you wish to donate, we thank you in advance, and you can just click and follow the instructions on that donate to support those affected box. Xander Bogaerts, who had the 3-run home run, back in the third inning.
1-1.
I tell you what, guys, Bogaerts, when he signed that extension prior to last season, looking back on it now, what a steal that was for Boston.
Especially for the position, Jim. Think about how many great shortstops there are in the game.
Bogaerts takes one that just misses.
I got 3-2.
Count with Mitch Moreland on deck.
I know it sounds weird, Jim, what you said to fans. Well, $20 million, is that a discount? You bet, for his position.
Bogaerts drives it out to left once again. Turning around is Lungi, and that ball is gone. For the second time today, Xander Bogaerts goes deep up over the monster. And he gives the Red Sox some insurance here in the sixth.
Well, and the simulated lineup puts him in the cleanup spot, and Xander's loving it with 4 RBIs.
Bogaerts really getting into that one. If Xander wasn't in the lineup, Kyle Hart would certainly love that. He's really the one that's done most of the damage here today, as you mentioned, those 4 RBIs. How Mitch Moreland digs it.
And nice swing on that, as you saw the replay stayed back on that breaking ball.
Tanner Houck is not the only guest who will be joining us in this broadcast. PawSox team president Dr. Charles Steinberg will be joining us in just a few moments as well. To talk about all of the great things the team, led by him and Chairman Larry Lucchino and Vice Chairman Mike Tamburo, have done during this time to stay active in the community, give back to the community as well. Close one downstairs.
Pawtucket has done some great things, Jim, and looking forward to talking with Dr. Charles about those things.
Another pitch that just narrowly misses. Hart working around the edges here in the sixth. And Moreland swings and misses. That's the first strikeout for Kyle Hart. Late swing.
Hey guys, I'm back, by the way. I hope you didn't miss me too much.
Oh, we missed you.
You know, aside from what Xander Bogaerts has done to Kyle Hart, he did a really nice job here this evening. And let's get Tanner on the mound. You know, we warmed him up by interviewing him, guys. So we've got him mentally ready for this appearance. And as Billy McMillan makes the call to him, Virtual Billy says, let's get Tanner now into the game and on the mound at Fenway.
He'll face Michael Chavis, and there's that slider at the top of the zone. And guys, when Tanner's got that slider working, that's among the best in not only the minor leagues. I'd argue he would probably have one of the best sliders throughout the big leagues.
Absolutely.
I got a ball, 1 strike.
Inside of the fastball.
Well, I think what's so impressive about it, sorry, Mike, is how he's able to manipulate that pitch to almost, it seems, move in different directions. It doesn't always follow the same path.
Ball 2.
There it was. But he can make it dip, he can make it swerve, he can make it dive.
And then he goes in on your hands at 96. Forget it.
Ball, that's inside.
That's right there. Kevin Pillar waiting in the on-deck circle. Still a gorgeous day at Virtual Fenway. Pops it into right. Castillo with the catch. And that will end things here in the sixth. Xander Bogaerts getting into one with his second long ball of the day. Red Sox lead 5-3 through 6. And right now, we're going to toss it over to our public address announcer, Ben DeCastro, with a message for Pawtucket firefighter Brad Hazelton, who is suffering from COVID-19.
The Pawtucket Red Sox join with our entire community in support of Pawtucket firefighter Brad Hazelton. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family at this time. Best wishes, firefighter Hazelton. We are all rooting for you.
Brazier coming on for Boston here in the 7th inning. And with the play-by-play in the 7th, let's send it back to Josh Mount.
Thank you much, Jim. And it was 6 solid innings from Eduardo Rodriguez. Just 3 runs allowed, and thanks in large to the bat of Xander Bogaerts. He leaves with a 5-3 lead. Here's a man who the PawSox know a lot about, Ryan Brazier. TJ Chatham greets Brazier in the left field corner. That's a fair ball and off the base of the fence. TJ Chatham has a double. So it's a good start to the 7th for the PawSox. You can see Chatham trying to get the bench fired up. Well, we thank Ben for that message for our firefighter in Pawtucket, Brad Hazelton, from all of us associated with this Twitch broadcast and the entire organization. We send our thoughts and prayers to Brad, to his family, and we know he's continuing to fight. We will hope and pray for good news coming soon. It's been a time where there's been so much uncertainty for so many. Bobby Dahlbeck, tying run is at the plate. That is what Brazier was looking for. It'll be an out. Devers throws over to first, and Chatham has to remain at second base.
Well, the Red Sox over the years have done a really good job piecing together some bullpen arms that we're seeing in this game. Brazier, Hembry, who they traded for, Josh Taylor. But, boy, Brazier was something else a couple years ago.
Big reason that the Red Sox won the World Series back in 2018. Now it's Rusney, who is 2 for 3, including a double. The unofficial line on Eduardo Rodriguez, he allowed 3 runs and only 2 of them were earned. 6 hits, and he is again in line for the win. Hope you're enjoying our production of Opening Day Anyway. An exhibition game thanks to MLB The Show. Playing this at virtual Fenway Park. On what would have otherwise been, as we speak, opening night, Pawtucket and the Syracuse Mets at McCoy Stadium. Rusney yanks a foul. By the way, we invite you folks to click underneath your screen. There's a donation button that you'll see. If you have the means, and then we know that it's a very difficult time for so many. Boy, that's off of Brazier, but right over to Chavis. So a 1-4-3 is the second out. If you have the means to do so, we ask you to make a donation over to the PawSox Foundation. 100% of the money that we are collecting will go to local food banks, local food charities, donations, organizations that are taking money to help get supplies, especially food, to those who need it most during this very difficult time. So please, if you can, check out the donation button that is underneath your screen as you watch our broadcast here today. And we certainly appreciate anything and everything that you are able to give. So they checked on Brazier there. Ryan took the comebacker off of Castillo's bat, and Brazier just shooed away the athletic trainer. Tying run at the plate, it's big Josh Ackerman. On the ground and a play for Moreland. Takes it himself, and Ryan Brazier able to work around a leadoff double. Well, it's the 7th inning stretch. You know what that means. It's time for Take Me Out to the Ballgame. So that was our Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses 7th inning stretch. Tanner Houck faced one batter to finish the 6th, and he will be back on the mound here for the bottom of the 7th inning. It's our pleasure to welcome to our broadcast the team president for the Pawtucket Red Sox. We welcome on Charles Steinberg. Dr. Charles, happy opening day virtually to you. We'll work on getting Charles squared away. We may have you now, Charles. I'll try that again and see if we can hear you this time. Pilar lines to right. Oh, and a drop by Castillo. Be an error there for Rusnak. Do we have you, Charles?
Do we have virtual Charles?
Unfortunately, virtual Rusnak has a problem with that slicing line drive by Kevin Pilar. So now that brings up Vasquez, first base runner off of Tanner Houck, but not of his doing. The third error by the PawSox in this game. 1 for 2 for Vasquez. Scored a run in the 4-run 3rd inning. So glad you could tune in here as we go into the dinner hour. PawSox broadcasters with you, Josh Maurer, Mike Antonellis, Jim Kane, on our opening day anyway broadcast. Having some fun with this. That one up the middle for Vasquez, his second hit of the evening. And it's 2 on with nobody out for the Red Sox. There he is.
We got him.
Hi, Charles. It was
Josh.
a quick appearance.
It was,
by
yeah.
Charles. We'll work on those technical difficulties. We apologize, folks. Well, Mike, you were saying?
Remember last year, as soon as Tanner Houck got to Pawtucket, that's when the buzz really started with him being in the Boston bullpen.
Tanner Houck got, I think, probably the Red Sox would even admit, kind of rushed into the role as they were looking for any relief help at the major leagues last year. Playing left field for Longy, right at the warning track for the first out. The runners will have to stay put.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk. Why is it so hard to be a starter to a reliever? Well, they're in such a routine, and then all of a sudden, it's just completely different, and there's an adjustment for guys making that transition. I think there was a little bit for Tanner.
2 on, 1 out. Top of the order, Benintendi. And he gets ahead in the count against Houck. 2-0.
No, guys, another pitcher who made that transition last year was a guy who we saw on both of these teams, Mike Shawarma.
Into left for a hit for Benintendi, and the bases are going to be loaded. We got an error and a couple of singles. And a nice piece of hitting by the sweet lefty stroke from Benintendi.
Yeah, Houck wanted that pitch a little bit more away, and pretty much knee high to Benintendi, who slapped it to left.
Rafael Devers gets to bat with the bases loaded. A chance to break this game open for Boston. Strike one. By the way, just to close the book on Kyle Hart, he went 5 2/3. Gave up 5 hits, but 5 runs. 4 of the 5 runs have been driven in by Xander Bogaerts on a pair of homers. And now what does Devers do with the sacks packed? That one will stay in the yard. Lynn is on the warning track. Here comes run number 6. It's a sacrifice fly for Rafael Devers. And now Boston doubling up Pawtucket 6-3.
Well, guys, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. I was about to just point out Devers. I mean, we've talked about his power and over 30 home runs, but this is a guy who is a great hitter, and he uses the entire field, loves to go to left as he did just there.
Yeah, great point. Very unselfish.
A couple of deep flyouts in the inning. That run is unearned because of the Castillo error. If you're scoring at home,
Hey, which we are.
Martinez. Well, at least some of us are. That's right.
Yeah, you bet.
A wild one will move the runners up. No, they will not. They do not advance. Good job by Juan Centeno, the catcher, to get back to the backstop.
Guys, even in a simulation, it didn't feel like Kyle Hart pitched badly despite the 5 runs.
Well, really, Mike, the 2 big swings by Bogaerts did almost all of the damage.
Yeah. So the line makes it look a lot worse, but watching it, seeing it, there's a feel to it.
Off of Houck and a play for Dahlbeck on the run. How about that one? 1-5-3 off the pitcher. An unearned run for Boston. It is 6-3. We will work on getting team president, Dr. Charles Steinberg, as we get ready for the 8th inning. Let's turn it back over to Mike Antonelis.
All right, Josh, thanks a lot. Jansen Whitty trying to start things off in the right way for Pawtucket. They're down 3 to the big club. Brian Brazier's 2nd inning. He worked around a leadoff double by Chatham in the 7th. Whitty watches the ball. And that's a great thing about Jansen. He's got a good eye. See the attendance at Fenway today, over 34,000. The sea of red and great pictures and a great view of Boston as well, downtown the city. Woody, a hard ground ball, and that's a good start to the 8th. So Woody's on. And guys, Nick Longy is on deck. He's been the man today for Pawtucket.
Good effort here by Chavis, diving to his right. Yeah, Nick Longy, he's been on base all 3 times, and he's driven in 2 of the 3 runs. So let's see if Marco can get a runner into scoring position for him.
And Marco has an RBI, and he takes a strike. And just watching that replay of Jansen Whitty's swing, that was such a typical Jansen swing there. Going the other way.
Is that right? How about
All
that,
right,
guys?
I got to talk to Charles. Yeah.
All righty. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Good to have you. Happy opening day anyway.
Isn't it amazing how beautiful the weather is, at least on our screens?
It brings us to the ballpark.
I want to thank you all for doing this. We're flying as we go along, and the whole idea was just to give people some kind of break, some kind of diversion, some kind of respite from the news that we are in 24/7. And for everybody who is given this a chance today, know that it's just a pilot. It's a way to see whether we can construct a little bit of baseball using MLB The Show. We're grateful to the Boston Red Sox and to MLB The Show for this opportunity to have the PawSox play the Red Sox. And having Tanner Houck on helps you know the players a little bit better. We have more who would be on with us if you're so inclined to continue to watch these games. And in the meantime, it also lets us showcase the frontline heroes who are doing so much in our community, and many of the corporate partners who are also going out of their way to help everyone during this unusual time.
And Juan Centeno with a sac fly, so Pawtucket with a run here in the eighth. And Dr. Charles just talked to us a little bit about the great things Pawtucket and the front office are doing in the community. We see all the great social media postings. It's been every day with consistent work.
Well, what we've tried to do, I thank you for the kind words, but what we've tried to do is have the front office be redeployed from the preparations of what would have been a traditional and maybe an unusual opening day today. Had we played, I don't know if the rain would have allowed it, but people have been redeployed into their natural state, which is the state of compassion. People have been thinking about what can they do to help. And we talk about it every day in the front office. We meet virtually, and we listen. We listen to Mayor Grebby in Pawtucket, who is a hero among us. He's just been great. And that has led to some deeds that are small and medium, I'd say. Taking coffee. Rick Medeiros drove coffee to the nurses at the Miriam and Rhode Island Hospital. And then the idea came that something as simple as PawSox ponchos could be repurposed at the hospitals in the Lifespan family. That led to Milford Hospital saying that would work for us. And then today, more of those ponchos went up to UMass Memorial. So listening to the people who are actually at the front lines helps you know what would help. We took food that was going to be ready for opening day today, and we gave some of that food to the Alicia Project, a very effective community program in the Pawtucket area. And we're already aware of the families in need who have benefited from that food. And we've also served lunches to frontline heroes and first responders. So you just try to do what you can. We're going to create T-shirts that add a touch of humor, but that will, we hope, raise more funds that we can help these organizations. One will say, wash your paws. Another for kids will say, safe at home. And for those who enjoy the eighth inning stretch at Fenway and at McCoy, one shirt will say hands washing hands. So you try to keep your spirits in the office, and it would be Sweet Caroline time in this game now too, now wouldn't it?
Hey, let's listen in. Let's do it.
Listen. Well, it wouldn't be a game, well, without Adam Lau, of course, but Sweet Caroline, guys, right? It gets
Especially
us
at
in the mood.
Fenway or at McCoy Stadium, it wouldn't be a game without that.
Absolutely not.
So Lau will face Bogarts, Moreland, and Chavis. Pawtucket down 2 runs. Dr. Charles still with us.
Yes, you know, the remarkable thing about Sweet Caroline and the life of its own that it has taken across the country is that, you know, here in Boston and in New England, and it's certainly part of the fabric of a PawSox game. And people were sending around texts joking, what if Neil Diamond would re-record it saying hands, washing hands? And what do you know, he did. What a cool post he made, sitting in front of his fire, playing his guitar, and just showing that he is just like every single one of us. We're all going through this together. We're all in this together. We all want to get through this together. And that's why we also thank the Rhode Island Department of Health. They have credible information. We've given their website. We can do that again. Also, the Rhode Island Blood Center is in need of blood, and we want to make sure that we help shed the light on them. But you know, it's also a time that we use baseball to get away from it all, but we also use baseball as a time to thank those emergency room nurses, the doctors, the medical personnel at the hospitals, the clinicians. They don't stay home. They don't get to stay home. They still are going to work, and we respect them, we admire them, we love them, and we're really grateful.
So hands washing hands, that will have to be played at McCoy at some point, right?
I imagine so. And now we're going to have a T-shirt to go with it, and it'll be a fundraiser for the PawSox Foundation so that we can help these organizations that have taken hits during this time.
Adam Lau has struck out Xander Bogarts and Mitch Moreland. A great story about Adam Lau. He lives in an RV that he bought himself. He figures, why pay rent? You never know where you're going to be in the minor leagues, so he owns his own RV.
Yeah, when he
Pretty
came
smart
to
business guy.
Pawtucket last year for the first time, he was living in a trailer park, an RV park near Foxborough, or in Foxborough, kind of near Patriot Place. He just found a spot, docked it, and off he went. You're right, it's as mobile as you can be.
He did all the math. It's cheaper, and good for him. See the bullpen getting loose. So it looks like we'll see Brandon Workman in the ninth for Boston. And Pawtucket will have Chatham, Dahlbeck, and Rusney.
Charles, what's the latest that you're hearing from the International League and minor league baseball in general?
Well, it's not as though there is secret information that they possess. We actually are all in this world dealing, I think, with the same information. I think so many of us have become accustomed to listening to the latest words from Dr. Fauci because I think you know, he's become our medical Walter Cronkite. So I don't know that we're going to know anything until we see how the virus subsides and when it does. But I think that what we all have to do is have faith that there will be that day and that it does come and that we'll resume playing baseball as we know it. Till then, we're going to do everything we can to either help those who are involved or affected, but also something like this. We know this is not a real ball game. We know this is not a telecast, but maybe it does give you a little bit of time to remember your ball players, remember baseball, look at the blue skies, think about PawSox baseball, think about Red Sox baseball, and if that gives you just a little bit of a diversion, then maybe we have something. One more thing I should add before I let you get back to play by play. What a job Ocean State Job Lot did. They called Mike Tamboro and said, we have pallets of food, and they brought them to McCoy's parking lot yesterday for Pawtucket families through Mayor Grebian's emergency response system. And you had more than 1,200 cars come and pop their trunks. And as Rick Madeira said, they plunked in the trunk bags of groceries. And those were the PawSox staff members who organized that. And I'm very proud of them, but very grateful to Ocean State Job Lot for such a generous donation.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Charles.
Now I'm going to leave it to you guys to just talk baseball because that's what we want to do today. It's a virtual opening day. We love opening day. We call it opening day anyway. But remember, this is a pilot program. And if you like it, you let us know. It's not hard to get in touch with us. And you can also send your comments to info@pawsox.com, as well as these chats. And let us know. We'll keep this going if you'd like to keep it going and just learn about the ball players, have ball players on, and enjoy some baseball any way we can.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah. Brandon
Wishing you
Workman is
all-
on for.
Wishing you all the best of health.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Look at his numbers from last year. And to take us to the top of the ninth, and hopefully Jim's going to be the good luck charm for a Pawtucket come from behind win.
Let's certainly hope so, Mike Antonellis, and they've got the right guys up to do it. C.J. Chatham, Bobby Dahlbeck, and Rusney Castillo do up against Brandon Workman. Workman, what a year he had out of the Red Sox bullpen a year ago, settling into that closer spot. And guys, this was a guy who was going back and forth between AAA and the big leagues, has spent considerable time in Boston, going back to the World Series run in 13, but finally able to find a home in Boston last year was Workman.
Well, you looked at that first pitch you just threw, Jim, and that was one of the big reasons that he had such a revival last year was the velocity. There's that knuckle curve. That's been his bread and butter throughout his career. But first pitch here today, 95. I mean, when we saw him coming back for those few years from the Tommy John surgery, he would be in the mid-80s at times, or the upper 80s with the fastball. Finally getting that velo back, and it's made all the difference.
Chatham in the air to deep left field. Benintendi watches this one sail into the monster seats. C.J. Chatham pulling a solo shot off Brandon Workman to greet him here in the ninth inning. And the PawSox are within a run. It's now 6-5 Boston.
Well, there's the first home run of the day for the PawSox. He gets that fastball and turns it around. Impressive there. And you know him more than Jim and I do, Mike Antonellis, because you saw him in Portland so much. He's not known for his power like that.
He's not. I mean, he's a former starter, and you're right. Even when his turn to the bullpen, he was not throwing as hard as he is now.
Known for his power, Bobby Dahlbeck into the gap. That's going to hit on the track and up against the wall. Bradley playing the carom, but how about Chatham and Dahlbeck greeting Brandon Workman here in the ninth inning? And all of a sudden, the PawSox with the tying run in scoring position.
And Rusney coming up. I don't think Billy McMillan's going to ask him to bunt, and he sure did not.
He pulled it back and fouled it off. Look at the day there for Castillo. Double and a single.
Got to try to hit the ball to the right side. Or that.
He pulls one through the left side for a base hit. Run is just 90 feet away. So a home run, a double, and now a single by Castillo. Go ahead run now on base for Pawtucket. Hakimi stopped by Centeno. Runner does advance to second base. A late throw by Vasquez on a wild pitch by Workman.
Boy, and that's not inconsequential. Those 90 feet, those are huge. That is the potential winning run getting into scoring position with the hustle there by Rusney.
Hakimi swings through that knuckle curve. That was nasty from Workman.
And that's what Josh was saying. I mean, he'll throw that pitch whenever he wants.
Hakimi on the ground and through into right field, a base hit. One run scores, and that'll be all, but it's a big one. Josh Hakimi ties the game at 6 with a single.
Boy, look at that. Pitch in on the hands. He's able to get through the zone and pull it into right. That is consecutive hits to start the 9th inning. The
He was-
comeback PawSox, Mike Antonellis.
Yeah, and he was certainly fired up after that.
Now the go-ahead run at third base in the form of Rusney Castillo. And here is Jansen Whitty, who has enjoyed a nice afternoon with a couple of hits.
And they got the infield in, guys.
PawSox.
You can see it. Sorry, Jim. Infield in all the way around here for Boston.
He bounces one down to third. Devers goes to second, but he throws it away. Nearly got into the outfield. And now Pawtucket with the bases loaded.
Boy, so the infield in, they held the runner at third, but Devers tried to get the out at second. Give him an
Hernandez squares to bunt, goes back to Workman. His only play is to first. Hernandez is retired, but in from the back door comes Rusney Castillo, and the PawSox completing the comeback bid. They take the lead.
Now that looks to me like a safety squeeze. What
Yes.
do you think, Mike? That's a
Yeah, I was gonna
brilliant
say.
call by Billy McMillan.
With a good bat to handle that, Marco is good at sacrificing or doing anything like that.
Infield in again here, still runners second and third.
One out in the inning, that was it. The bunt successful for Marco Hernandez. Now a pitch inside on Longy. Ron Renicky has to be wondering what's going on with virtual Brandon Workman, usually a shutdown closer.
Boy, it looks like Ron Renicky has decided to load the bases here. He's going to give Longy the intentional walk. Longy, that's the 4th time in the game that he's reached base. And that does set up the force at any base here as Centeno comes up.
And Centeno had a sac fly his last time up. PawSox here in the 9th. And that one just missing the corner.
Hey
And I'll
guys, that run in the 8th was big for Pawtucket. That made it 6-4.
I was going to say, Mike, too, you wonder now, with Adam Lau having struck out the side in the 8th inning, how much more insurance does he need, and how much more do the PawSox press to keep adding on to this rally?
The Pilar Vasquez and Bradley for Boston.
So I have to wonder, too, PawSox do have options in the bullpen if they want to do make a change for the bottom of the 9th. As Centeno grounds left side, Bogart's only play is to third, and they do get the force. Yeah.
That's okay, though, if you're Pawtucket. You get the run in as Akami scores the 4th run of the inning. 2nd inning in a row, in fact, that Centeno gets an RBI.
Yeah, late inning ribbies.
1-2 out. Zue Lin, the leadoff man, takes down and in. Sox getting to the Red Sox closer here in the 9th. Looks like Brandon Workman's getting tired, as the graphic just showed there above the scoreboard.
Now you're thinking when we get back to real baseball, they'll start posting that now in ballparks?
Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
Then rips one into the gap in right center. Pilar on his horse, and he makes the catch. Solid contact again, but the PawSox comeback bid complete. They score 4 times, and they take an 8-6 lead as we head to the bottom of the 9th.
And let's check out, Jim, a little promo that the PawSox front office staff was able to put together and shows us how they have been trying to play some baseball at home.
Everyone wants to play some catch.
We know you do too.
So submit videos of you playing catch at home to be in our next video.
How about that? The PawSox front office virtual game of catch. That was pretty fun to put together.
Well,
So,
you know,
bottom of the
Dr.
ninth.
Charles got a walk-off hit there, it looked like, Jim. Gonna have to try to follow suit, get a walk-off here.
Well, they're going to have to do it with the bottom of the order against the new pitcher, Domingo Tapia, on for Pawtucket. Tapia, a guy who was a non-roster invitee to spring training this year for the Red Sox, and he can light up the radar gun.
Yep, 97 there, but we've seen him multiple times at McCoy last year hit triple digits on that gun. And goes to the changeup. Really just the two-pitch mix. Fastball changeup there for Tapia. Second year in the organization.
Close out a Pawtucket victory at Fenway, and Pilar lines out to center to Zue Lin, who has been quite busy here today. Calls in out number one.
Well, if Tapia could add a splitter or a slider, I mean, and perfect it, it would just change his whole repertoire.
Christian Vasquez digs in. He's got a couple of hits as well. That changeup and eclipse the corner.
I think this crowd is stunned. Looks like it on this late afternoon at Fenway.
And none of them left. They want to see a walk-off by Boston.
I don't see an empty seat in the park.
No.
Jackets on, as is often the case in early April. Domingo's looking a little spelt. Maybe lost some weight in the offseason, don't you think, Jim?
You hear guys say they come to spring training in the best shape of their life. Looks like that was the case with Domingo as Vasquez gets into one to right field. Rusney Castillo with the running grab. And the PawSox an out away from a victory. 2 down in the ninth.
Just to put a cap on what happened against Workman, 9 men batted, 4 runs, 4 hits, and a very big error.
To Jackie Bradley Jr. for to continue, and a grounder to the left side. Dahlbeck in the hole, not in time. The shift was on, even with the strong arm of Dahlbeck. Just too far to go to try to get Bradley.
Boy, that is huge. Jackie hustling out that single because that brings the tying run to the plate, gentlemen. And you're right, Jim. Because it was that overshift on against the lefty, that had the infielders all out of normal position.
Yeah, Benintendi's not your typical leadoff guy. He's got power.
Hey, we wouldn't want this any other way, Jim, on our opening day anyway. Coming right down to the final batter. Exciting finish.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's been very competitive as well.
Ooh.
Swing and a miss at a changeup. That was a nasty pitch from Tapia. The pitch just inside.
How about that take? We're on 1-2.
It was the same pitch, too, that he had just chased.
And Tendi lays off the high heat, and Rafael Devers waiting on deck.
Well, I think you got to challenge him here, gentlemen. I think this has to be the fastball, I would assume.
Line drive out of the reach of Akemi and into right field. A wide turn around the bag for Bradley, who will hold up at second. But now the tying run on base and the winning run coming to the plate in the form of Rafael Devers.
Yep, he did get the fastball, Mike. And that just shows you the bat speed that Benintendi has to be able to pull that and turn it around.
Yeah, it's the right play. You can't walk Benintendi in that situation.
Devers drives one in the air to deep right field. Castillo is back onto the warning track, but that ball is gone. A 3-run walk-off home run off the bat of Rafael Devers, and the Red Sox win it. .351 feet tail of the tape, pulling one just around the pesky pole. And the third home run of the day is the killer for Pawtucket as the Red Sox win here on Anyway.
Unbelievable. Look at this. This is a Fenway special. The lefty pulling it. You said it, Jim. That's the pesky pole. Maybe the only ballpark in the majors where this ball is a home run. And just out of the reach of Rusney Castillo. What an effort. And what a ball game.
How about that?
A virtual ball game, but a gem.
Yeah, I was going to say a virtual ball game, and how about the way it finished with a lot of drama? 2 outs, guys. 3 straight hits.
I think the Gatorade bucket is coming here as Xander, who hit 2 home runs, is doing the interview. Xander has been picked as the player of the game. He hit the 2 home runs off of Kyle Hart's 3-run shot in the 3rd. You take a look at, and then he hit another one in the 6th inning. But boy, you're right. How about the 9th? The PawSox, trailing by 2, send 9 men to the plate, score 4 times to take the lead, and then Jim Tapia gets the first 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. But a Bradley Hustle single got the rally going.
A line score there, guys. 17 combined runs and 25 combined hits. A lot of the runs coming late, as you both just alluded to. That 9th inning, what a end, what a comeback. Let's take a look at some stats there as well, and also go through some of the highlights with Nick Longi kicking off the scoring in this one with his triple to center.
Yeah, Nick Longi, who was traded for slot money to the Reds, back with the Red Sox in the organization and reached base 4 times.
One of 2 RBIs that Longi would pick up in the game today. That capped off a 2-run 2nd inning against Eduardo Rodriguez.
Final score here from virtual Fenway Park. The Red Sox with a walk-off victory, 9-8, as we take the box score on both sides. Really, besides Zhu Weilin, guys, and Juan Centeno, a couple of RBIs, no hits though, but really production from top to bottom in the Pawtucket line.
Yeah, absolutely, and getting some key hits in some key spots today. The lower part of the order was very good for Pawtucket, but just a heartbreaking loss for the virtual PawSox.
I thought that, I'm sorry, Jim, I thought Kyle Hart pitched very well for the most part, pitching at Fenway for the first time. And all in all, just a fun way to get this 2020 virtual season started.
Enjoyed it, boys.
It was a lot of fun. We had a couple of guests. We had Tanner Houck joining us, answering some questions as well. Dr. Charles Steinberg had some videos to show you guys as well. We appreciate everyone tuning in to our Twitch broadcast today. And guys, I don't know about you, but let's hope we can get some more of these going over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. Love to do it again.
And definitely stay in touch. I'm sorry, Jim. Stay in touch with the PawSox social media channels, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can get all the information on the upcoming Twitch broadcasts that we'll have in the coming weeks. We'll be back next week. We're planning with another one just like this.